Right on, guys. This is just an update video for the one I did about my nose the other day. As you know, I normally do videos based on urology stuff, but I'm going to do a couple of videos regarding my septoplasty and turninate reduction. So I went into the Dutchy hospital, which is part of the Ramsey Healthcare Group, Thursday gone for septoplasty with turninate reduction. I did a little bit of introduction on my previous video as to why I needed that. Basically, I had a badly deviated septum and enlarged turbinates, which is why I was going in for the surgery. So I've never been in the Dutchy hospital for a treatment before, only for a consultation. So anyway, you wait reception, nurse comes and takes you down to the day case ward. Now, at Dutchy hospital day case ward, made up what they call pods, little glass rooms, I suppose, are about the size of a normal ward cubicle. So you've got a bed, you've got a chair. I know it was more luck than judgment. I had one right down the end which had a window in it, so I had a bit of sunshine coming through, and it was right next to the toilet, which was ideal for me. I filled out a medical questionnaire beforehand, so I think they were aware I had cystic cystitis and bladder problems. Whether this was the reason why I was put next to the toilet, I don't know. So anyway, nurse comes along, does all your vital signs, blood pressure. They bring you around a menu, choose which sandwich you want. A little bit different to when I go into Trelisk or West Cornwall. You basically just get what you're given. Down West Cornwall, you don't get sandwiches, you just get toast and tea. And then nieces come around and saw me, and I was a bit concerned because obviously generally going on, I have the SGA tube, which is the laryngeal airway, which is basically, you've probably seen it used on Doc Martin, just a bit of a curved pipe goes into your mouth, sits over the top of your vocal cords. And given the fact they were operating on my nose, I thought, it's more likely than not they're going to want to put in the ETT tube, which obviously goes down into your chest. And the anaesthetist said, no, we can work with the SGA, which was ideal because I had a bit of a sore throat last time after the anaesthetic when I had my Botox back in July, because the anaesthetist must have been a bit rough. So she said, promise not to hurt your throat and not to damage your lips, which is great. Then Mr. Neil Tan, who's my surgeon, he come round. We just went through the last few bits. On YouTube, there are a few scaremongering videos going around over turbinate reductions and empty nose syndrome. I'd had a bit of look at this. It's something I hadn't discussed with Mr. Tan. And I said to him, look, what are the risks of empty nose syndrome? And he said, unless you have a turbinectomy, and I'm not sure really in what situation you'd have a turbinectomy. This is where I said the turbinates are removed. This could be, I don't know. It could be, you have to look it up online. It could be any reason. Then you could have a risk of empty nose syndrome. He said, given the way he reduces the turbinates, he reduces the bone and the skin on the internal side of the turbinate. So basically, the shape of the turbinate stays as it is. It's just reduced in size. And I said, that's fine. And that was what I think was really bothering me. But like everything, it was just something that hadn't been addressed when we had the consultation. We just went through the operation and what things were going to be. So anyway, off he went. And then nurse come back. Then we get into changing my gown and dressing gown. It's one of the few occasions where I've been into surgery and I'm allowed to keep my boxers on, which is great. Now you see in the operating theatre on TV where people go down to the theatre for stuff on their head or their face, wearing lower things, and this might be policy. They might allow this in some hospitals, but I think generally going on for keep things sterile. They prefer you just to have your underwear and your stockings on underneath your gown, which is fine. Dutchy hospital for day case seemed to provide paper gowns, which again wasn't a problem. It's a bit lighter than the big cloth ones that they give you at when I've been in Trelisk and West Cornwall. There's no having to walk to theatre. No, the anaesthetist, anaesthetic nurse came and got me, sat me on the bed, got me all comfy in bed, and they wheeled me up to the anaesthetic room. All I had to do then was transfer from the trolley to the operating table in the anaesthetic room. Obviously, when I've been into Trelisk and West Cornwall, the trolleys are all set up for the lithotomy position. They got a piece that comes away at the front of the bed and stirrups it going, so you never actually get moved off the bed. So this is the first time I'd actually gotten onto a operating table. Up to this point, up until the Thursday, I'd worked 10 days solid, so I was quite tired. And then I had anaesthetist put cannula in the fold of my arm this time as opposed to the back of my hand, which is ideal because I'm back in again on the 11th having Botox, and my hand would have been sore still as she put her cannula in my hand. And actually, I got no pain in the fold of my arm, so it's actually a better place to put it, to be honest with you. And then she said, "Oh, I was just going to give something to make you groggy," and that was it. I don't remember nothing more. There was no pre-oxygenating with a mask, and then nodding off. It was literally out Sparko, and next minute I was coming around recovery. Hour operation was about an hour and a half. I think it was about somewhere around about 12, 12:15, when you actually become consciously aware. In recovery, I had quite a bit of discomfort in my nose. You see people going home with their wadding underneath their nose, but they actually took this off in recovery because my nose had stopped bleeding at this point. Apparently, there'd been issues with my nose bleeding in surgery, which wasn't surprising because on my right hand side I had a vein that was quite close to the surface from the deviated septum, but there was no more bleeding, so they took the bandage off. Breathing at this point wasn't too bad, but it was pain in my upper teeth. Mr. Tanner already warned me that he said in some patients, I think about 3%, you can end up with numbness in your upper jaw, upper teeth for a few weeks after surgery. But it felt, the only way I can describe it, it felt like you've been smacked in the mouth, caught your upper teeth and all the nerves, and that's what hurt more. So nurse came around, gave me some cocodamol, and again, obviously mouth and throat was dry from the anaesthetic. And I think about it were panicking a little bit because my blood pressure was raised above what it normally is, and I was tachycardic as well. My pulse was up over 100 going round. So they hung me on in recovery till about 1 o'clock, and they was happy for me to go back to my pod. They took me back to my pod, and no, so I'm not. She said you can't have any tea because so do be aware if you are having rhinoplasty or septoplasty 7-minute reduction, you won't be able to eat or drink anything hot for about 24 to 48 hours post surgery. So I said to myself, "Oh, I'll have some squash." I asked, he brought me orange squash. I thought afterwards I shouldn't have had orange squash really, because obviously having IC, anything citric and irritating, I thought it was too bloody late now really. By the time I got back to me pod, I was breaking my neck for a pee. So anyway, I said to the nurse, "Can you bring me a bottle?" So I hung over the side of the bed, cath into a bottle, and as soon as I'd done that, nose started pouring all over me gown. So anyway, I rung me bell again, put this cath in, and the nurse come in, she said, "I'll get you a clean gown." Bloody great clots and everything was coming out of my nose. She had to come in, pinch my nose off, and managed to stop the bleeding again, give me a fresh gown. Anyway, they managed to sit me up in bed, and she said, "You're going to have to stay absolutely still," which is easier said than done, really. Well, I think so. They should give me some ice to put on my nose and ice to put behind my head, which I hadn't heard of before. Apparently, it's just to cool the blood going into the head, so might be worth it if you get headaches or pain at some point. So then just put a lump of ice right on the back of your neck, lean it back against it. That seemed to help. Anyway, I drunk through some squash, and then she said, "Do you want your sandwich?" So in comes lovely freshly made cheese, Jersey cheese sandwich with some salad sort of thing. It was worth it just for that, really. And then I don't know what it was, 2:30. She said, "Do you want to try getting out of bed?" I said, at this point, I'm going to need to go for a pee again. So she said, "You're going to have to be very careful not to bend over." So anyway, I managed to walk around to the toilet, and trying to cath while keeping your head in the air is not very easy. No, it's not like I can do. No, it's not like I can cath without looking at stuff. So you've got to quickly drop your eyes, clean up, drop your eyes, put in lube in, drop your eyes, put the cath in, like now, all without trying to bend your head. So, well, I think come end up, I think it was about 4 o'clock time they allowed me to be discharged. Tracy was already on her way by that point. The nurse had checked. I'd had a bit of the nose had. Mr. Tanner come around to see me. Mr. Tanner come around to see me when I was awake in my pod, and my septum on my right hand side was that badly deviated. He said apparently it was touching the turbinate, so it was no wonder I was struggling with a lot of crusting and such like on my right hand side. He sent me home with some saline spray to wash my nose out with and clear instructions. So he's quite good with his surgery. Really, is a whole list, a whole A4 sheet of stuff to do and not to do. after rhinoplasty, septoplasty, turbinate reduction, contact numbers, etc. The nurse, I had a few times where I've been sort of swallowing crap off the back of my throat. You could taste the blood in it. So the nurse had a pencil light and just double checked that there was no more blood running down the back of my throat. Otherwise, there was a risk you could bleed out if there's any large amount of blood. And they were happy that my nose was no longer bleeding. And then Tracy come and pick me up. Anyway, she had sandwiches when I got home, cold drinks, because you can't eat a drink that's hot. You've got to be careful. They're trying to keep your head tipped back, because again, you can't tip your head forward. My nose was still weeping a little bit. They sent me home a load of gauze as well, obviously to make sure that nose don't start bleeding again. And it had got quite blocked by this point. Anyway, to describe it, it's like having a bad head cold, really. You can probably hear it in my nose now, I expect. I feel a lot rougher than probably what I look, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's like having a bad head cold. So I thought the safest thing to do is to sleep upright on the sofa Thursday night. So I didn't get a lot of sleep Thursday night. Every time you go to sleep, because your nose is literally block solid. It's not like having a cold. You can't blow your nose. I'm not allowed to blow my nose for 4 weeks. And really just relying on the saline spray to break up all the clots and all the mucus, which I have to say is working very well. I didn't get sleep. We are Saturday, so we are 2 days post-op now. I didn't get a lot of sleep again last night. I did sleep, but again, it was on the sofa. It's a bit broken sort of thing. When you're sleeping, when you're breathing pretty much 99% through your mouth is dry, your throat is dry. And then your nose is, yesterday afternoon, nose was horrendous. It was absolutely block solid. No, I don't think I've ever had it that bad in a cold before. Today, it is much freer. No, I've been still taking the paracetamol, still taking cocolamol, ibuprofen every 4 hours. The nasal wash, they recommend you use at least 4 times a day. I think I used it up to about 6 yesterday, which again is well within recommendations. And today it's again been using it again today, and it is releasing all the clots and all the crap that's up in your nose, because so you can't blow your nose. I use a bit of Vaseline around the inside of my nasal openings to stop it cracking, and again he's going to get fat, is moist all the time. Like when you have a cold, you're not careful, you can end up getting cracked skin. So recommend having a bit of Vaseline that softens any dry blood as well that may have built up overnight. I had quite a bit Friday morning. This morning it wasn't quite so bad. There was a little bit on my left nostril where the turbinate reduction has been, and again a bit of Vaseline soften it up, and it came away. They recommend generally going on for any kind of nose surgery that you have 2 weeks off. I'm going to have to persevere and rest certainly till Thursday coming. I'm off work till the 2nd. I'm going to have to sort of try and make sure I do stuff that isn't too heavy going into week beginning in the 2nd. Just reckon after 2 weeks you're fine to go back doing what you're doing. So depending on what you do for a living, might depend on whether you can get away with a week off or 2 weeks off. But you can't do. They recommend you don't bend over in a strenuous lifting. To be honest with you, I did ask Mr. Tan about sexual activity, and they said there's no restriction on that. But given that sexual activity can be quite strenuous, having a nosebleed all over Tracy is going to kind of kill the moment. So we're certainly going to leave that go well into next week when I know my nose is solid enough. Everything's healed up enough to not have nosebleeds anymore. That's about it for the minute, guys. Sort of thing. No, hopefully I'll be feeling a little bit better tomorrow than what I am now. I felt quite rough this morning. There's pressure in your nose, pressure in your face. It's just generally uncomfortable, really, sort of thing. No, you don't want to be talking too much. It's like trying to talk to somebody when you've got a bad cold. When you've got a bad cold, you can take decongestants, you can blow your nose. No, but you can't do any of that. No, literally relying on the saline spray, which admittedly is very good. No, I'm quite impressed with that, to be honest with you. To break everything up and keep your nose flowing. Okay, guys, Right on. Cheers and bye.